All right. Sandy's with us. Sandy, we have your projected budget. Looks like you had something like a $200.
There's $100 difference
Yeah, maybe.
in it. Yeah.
Anything to add to that?
The only reason is the law books last year were more than what I expected them to be. So it's just basically to cover the law books again.
Everything else kind of remains the same.
Yeah.
Questions? Very good job.
Revenue
Holding the line.
so far this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of it we don't get till the end of the year because it comes from the town. So, yeah, the bill comes in and then the town's reimbursed.
I do have a question. I was thinking about it on the drive out. The online, so ImageMate is continuously updated, correct?
It's updated, we update it twice a year for the towns and twice a year for the city.
Okay.
So-
Now the GIS portion of that, the online GIS, that hasn't been updated, and that was kind of
That was-
acidly decided about a year or two ago.
That was, when it was started through planning.
Yep.
And it was something that they did.
Okay.
And talking to Ken and with us, Ken said not a lot of people use it, so, you know.
So that was something your office really didn't have necessarily part in other than
Right.
providing data. All right, okay, just was curious on, but that's something I can follow up with Ken about. All right, thanks.
Robert?
We had a conversation earlier with the county clerk about mortgage tax and things like that, and we were struggling about the value of raising it. Can you give us an idea of what annual sales are a year? And is it increasing, is it inching
You
up?
mean, are they going anywhere compared to?
Could you tell us about what an annual sales,
Not here, I can't, but I might have the information back in the office.
could you get for the past 5 years?
Past 5 years? Well, I can get close, I think. I can certainly look to see what the average sale price is in Montgomery County.
Not the average sales price, I
What do
want
you-
the total amount of sales.
Oh, total amount of sales, yes. Yeah, I would have that.
We're trying to figure out what the mortgage tax would have been had we raised it based on those numbers. What-
The hardest part is that not all the sales are valid sales where there's a price difference. So, you know, you can sell from family to family and it might be $1.
But we would have collected mortgage tax on just that buck, right? I mean, that's not gonna change if there's those types of deals. We'll still know what the real number was for that year. We could add 0.5% to it, say that's what our mortgage tax would have been that year.
Okay, I can tell you how many sales are, yeah.
Can we do that for,
Not number, but sales volume, dollar amount.
Dollar amount?
It's the total amount of sales that occur each year.
I can certainly look to see if I can get that.
let's say there was $1 million worth of sales and we had a 1%, a 0.75% mortgage tax. That equates to this number. All we're trying to find out is what would that number have equated to had the mortgage tax increase went through. And we're looking for a trend of 5 years or something.
Yeah, I can certainly see. I don't know if there's a way that we capture all that data, so I'll look to see if we can get it.
Ryan and Martin.
Mortgage tax, is it only, I'm kind of making an assumption, is it only collected when you file a mortgage? And not necessarily on a sale of property, but only when you file a mortgage?
I thought it was on all sales, but we'd have to ask Helen.
Yeah, because I don't collect any money when they file the record, when they record the deeds, so I don't know.
That would be my only question on whether that would be representative of it or not.
Why don't we just have Sean pull out the numbers of the money that we did receive and
And,
multiply it by,
yeah,
Whatever way to do it, but let's have a sensible way of looking at it and saying, look, and let's trend it.
I think that's the easiest way of going about it, is get the actual number and divide it by blah, blah, blah.
How about we get both?
I
And
would think, wouldn't Helen have that data?
she,
The mortgage files in her office.
it's hard to get it out of her.
Yeah.
But we asked her for it too.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's true. I mean, as Sean alluded to earlier, you'd have to go through the process of getting it back to the Senate and the Assembly to approve it. And Matt said, you're not approving a whole lot.
You're lucky if you can get your sales tax extenders through right now.
Well, let's understand.
It's a challenge. Not impossible, but a challenge.
Somebody else? Sandy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You have to wait till 6 to leave.
Yeah, you have to wait till...
Well, have a nice night.
Thank you for coming tonight. We received this letter.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
All right. I don't know how familiar people are with our meals program, but we've got a wait list ever since I've been there. It's been pretty lengthy at certain times. The highest I ever got was 165. A lot of people who call our agency think they can call and just get a meal. But our funding doesn't cover the cost that's associated with that. And every year it goes up. This coming year, our meal price is going to go up about 8 cents per meal, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's about $5 grand. That's our last year. We were allocated $247,000. So we said to keep this present level, it would be $252,000. And the upper level is to eliminate the wait list, which, like I said, was 165. Right now, it's somewhere between 30 and 35. We're continually adding people, but we also get people calling and asking for meals as well. And just so you know, in case we use that fund as matching to allocate to get the funds from the federal and state grants that we use for the meals program. So every dollar that you give us can exponentially bring in more. But we need that money badly, obviously, to supplement programs we have. If we're just dependent on the federal and state grants, we'd be doing pennies on the dollar compared to what we do now. So that money's very, very important to what we do. So any consideration that you give us in my request, I would appreciate it. I know it's a tough budget year. I met with Matt and Terry a few weeks ago, I think. Kind of explained our situation. He explained the situation in the county. We understand that. One thing I do want to assure you is any money that you give us is going to be used towards this program. It's going to be used to serving people. That's what we do as an agency. I think we do it really well. So I would appreciate any consideration you could give us. And I'll answer any questions you have as well.
Ryan.
I'm going to repeat a couple things that I said last year because, it's still important to me and, I think it deserves to be repeated. Last year we increased the funding, which I think was really drastically needed. It's one of the things that is fairly personal to me because I, had a very close relationship with people who were not able to get meals when they needed it the most because of that wait list. And when we as a county can actually put dollars towards something that's making such an impact on community members, especially vulnerable community members who have paid their dues and deserve this service, in my point of view, I think we should do that, especially when we can simply, in effect, write a check. We're not dealing with the administration of that. We've got a great nonprofit that deals with that. We don't see those fringe benefits reflected in our budget, and we can really make a difference that way. So, I know it's a difficult budget year, but I think at the very least, it would be great, and I would definitely stand behind doing anything we can to eliminate that wait list completely, but at the very least to keep it where it's at and increase it where it needs to be to compensate for the increasing costs. So.
Barb?
Thank you. I completely agree with Ryan. And I this year had an experience where personally I family member was going to reach out in another county for meals, and it was difficult. We were able to sustain it and do it, but I would love to be able to figure out to not have one person on this, because sometimes there aren't kids or family that can provide those meals. And what you do as an outside agency has such heart and has such merit, and it doesn't cost us the fringe. It would be such a burden for us as a county that I support it fully. Ryan said it eloquently. Thank you.
Terry?
Yeah, Dave, would you go over the numbers again? For this year, what are you using for the meals?
As far as the rate,
Well, for the budget, the total cost of the meals.
252, right?
for total, yeah, this year.
We're tracking for this year on, other than outside contractors, we do provide for long-term Medicaid meals as well, but they pay us, so we
Okay.
provide the meal, but through you and the federal government, we're on track for about almost a third of our budget, about $425,000.
It is the most used program that we have. It's the one that's most well-known. Usually when people hear Office for Aging, they're like, oh, you do that Meals on Wheels thing. They know who we are because of that.
So the money you get from us is all of that being used for the Meals on Wheels?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I know last year when you increased our allocation, I tried wherever I went, wherever I spoke, I tried to tout like how beneficial that was. And clearly our wait list last year at this time, I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 100. It's gone down about 70. Part of that is due to the allocation, a large part of that. Part of it is things that we've done within our agency, refiguring things, bringing in some other funding that we were able to get, and just working with our subcontractor as well to maximize every cent that we have for the meals. Just so people in this room know, one of the options that we talked about a couple of years ago is going to all frozen meals, which would eliminate about, I believe, out of the $8.38 per meal, about $3.50 of that is just for transportation costs to our subcontractor. If it went to frozen, they would only deliver the meal typically once a week, maybe twice a week. The issue with that is, especially in the western part of this county, everybody here knows it's very rural. That person that delivers the meal might be the only person that they see all week. And so we thought as an agency, we kind of had to make a decision that that's more important than eliminating the wait list. Because other counties have done it, and they bit the bullet and they've gone and done that. And at some point we might have to do that. I'd rather not do that because that daily contact is probably as important, if not more important, than the actual meal itself. And so we've decided to work things around. Like I said, we've worked with our subcontractor really well. We've increased our volunteer base. Right now, Liberty does 5 routes of our 9 routes with all volunteers. And we have some other volunteers that work at the kitchen and also do meal routes as well. So we've tried to make things as economically sound as possible to stretch those dollars as much as we possibly can.
Dave, go ahead.
No, just to finish up, so to have everybody off the waiting list, you would need 252, you said?
No. That is to maintain where we're at right now.
Okay.
It's the 327, I believe, that was to eliminate 35 that are on the wait list.
Okay.
Dave, I have a question. Are you able to leverage, I remember when Cornell would come in and talk to us, money that we were able to give them, they were able to leverage in a certain way to get more federal dollars. Does that work?
It works to a certain point because there's a match with that. Like the federal, it's 10-1, but there's only a maximum amount of money they're going to give us.
Okay.
And so we are overmatched. So we've maxed that out. So last year, say if the increase was $20,000 and it's $2,000 a meal for a year's worth of meals, it's going to be about 10 people. Unfortunately, we can't leverage beyond that because the funds are maxed out at that point. It'd be great if we could. Then we would need that full 327 if we could continue.
I thought you brought up a good point that a lot of us younger folks probably don't realize, but I know my father can't wait to see the mailman every day. He lives with us. People do, elderly people look forward to that,
As weird as that sounds, that one person coming makes their day. And they usually try to have a longer conversation than the meal driver has. They have a limited time to get that meal out. And they want to sit there and have a 20-minute conversation with them, so they try to, say hi and how's the weather, that kind of thing, and get going.
I think everybody sitting, I don't want to speak or anything, but I think everybody sitting in this room would want to do everything we possibly could. And I think what it's going to boil down to at the end of the day is, when we look at our overall budget, what can we actually afford to do? And I think we will do everything we possibly can to get there. It's just, what can we do?
Just, if you, I mean, we have a spreadsheet, I could share it with you if you want, it goes into, I think we shared it with Matt when we met with him. You know, it goes from the 252, which was keeping where we're at. If we want to take 10 people off, it would be this amount. If we want to take 20, it'd be this. There are levels within there. It isn't 252 or 327. Obviously, anything that we got above that, we would allocate towards meals, because that right now is in priority.
Is that wait list, what was the wait list?
Right now, it's about 30 to 35.
Has that been the average over the trend over the years? Has it
No,
gotten?
it's much lower than it's been ever since I've been. Up until probably 6 months ago, it's always been over 100. And
So
and for most of the time,
make great
well,
strides, yeah.
yeah, so I mean, there's things that have happened that we've been able to reduce it significantly.
Well,
David, I'm new to this whole thing, so what is your total budget a year?
About 1.4 million.
And what percentage of that would be breakdown to like admin costs?
I built this spreadsheet, but I can say total salary for our agency and with the benefits and stuff, we're about the 350 range. And that's with, the salary's about 350,000.
So your admin costs about 25%?
Yeah, our fringe benefits I know are significantly less than county. We're under 30% of our salary. And I only know because I know we've dealt with some of the issues with the county and some like, good Lord, we wish we could have that. Yeah.
anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.